Hello, today I'd like to talk to you about spring season from an Ayurveda perspective. From an Ayurveda perspective, spring is governed by kapha dosha. And kapha dosha, as many of you are aware, is made up of the earth and water elements. So let's take a moment just to think about what happens when we mix earth and water. You know, we used to do it as kids, and you get a very clay-like kind of sticky substance, right? We can mold it, we can make shape and form with it. But how is it? It's cold to the touch, isn't it? It's kind of wet, a little bit slimy. It's heavy, isn't it, when we mix earth and water? I mean, think about if it's near us at the moment. We've had these rains, we've had snows that are melting now. And so when I'm walking the dogs, the earth is really sticky underfoot, right? It's sticking to the boots and they become really heavy. This is another quality of kapha dosha, this stickiness, this heaviness, this denseness, and it's not shaking off your shoes so easily, right? So it's like it's kind of static. So these are the qualities of kapha dosha. And this is, isn't it, what we're seeing in our environment at the moment, particularly this year. Maybe it's a little colder than we would like it to be, a little wetter than we would like it to be this spring. But actually, when we think in an Ayurveda way, it's exactly how spring is perceived: cold, wet, damp. And this environment, of course, has its effect on our bodies. So Ayurveda now is inviting us to adapt our diet and our lifestyle accordingly to kind of antidote the effects that these seasonal qualities the spring season might have, not only on our bodies, but also on our minds and our emotional state. Because this is particularly relevant, by the way, if you have kapha dosha in your constitutional type. And those qualities of heaviness, feeling like you can't quite move. It's not only a physical, right? We experience this kind of thing mentally and emotionally. So this is what we want to pay attention to, make sure we're not generating any more of it by a kapha aggravating lifestyle and diet, and also so that we're reducing its tendency to increase within us at the moment, or actually already to have peaked. So how do we do this? Well, let's look at the qualities of kapha. This is the key for all of us. And then we bring in the opposite. So cold and wet, right? We want to be taking very warming foods. So we can start to introduce like pungent foods, spices, vegetables into our diet. A little more, although pitta dosha, you need to be careful with this, all right? Because you already have this heat, of course. So we all have to adapt and adjust according to our Ayurvedic nature, the constitutional type. But generally, to antidote kapha, we're bringing in pungent tastes. So also, because of this sticky quality, this heavy quality, it creates a tendency in kapha within us towards congestive conditions in the lungs, in the gut. So we want to, take these kind of foods in to reduce that congestion, okay? And also foods with the bitter taste are reducing. So they're also going to help us to reduce congestion in the body, in the respiratory system, in the gut. Also the pungent foods will do the same for us. And it means that, we want to avoid the foods with the same qualities as the kapha. So think creamy, oily, heavy foods, your desserts, your sweets. Let's reduce them now. Spring really invites us to eat a light diet. If you think, it looks abundant because all these blossoms are suddenly appearing and the shoots are coming through the earth. So it looks like it's an abundant season. And on that level it is. But in terms of food produce, is actually quite sparse, right? So actually, this is nature's invitation to us to eat less, to eat more lightly, to give the body a chance to clear that which might be clogging and congesting the system, also the lymphatics, particularly after the heavier winter diet. So good spices you might enjoy at the moment are ginger, turmeric, fenugreek, warming cloves, cardamom. You can make really wonderful teas, infusions of these. Fresh and dried ginger, but dry ginger more for kapha types, not so much for vata, because vata is already dry, not so much for pitta, because pitta is already hot, and this dry ginger is a little hotter in quality. So that gives you an idea with the diet, congesting foods, dairy, white flour products, glutinous products. And let's avoid those deep fried, oily. Let's avoid those right now. Really light, clean, bitter. So you might like to really fill half your plate even with these lovely, like dark, leafy, bitter greens that are around at the moment. And less of the, also if you eat animal products, really reduce the quality of that right now, because it's very dense. It's very hard for the body to digest and process the fibers of meat. Egg is a very dense food. So it's really good to very much reduce those now, because we want to give the digestion with these warming, pungent teas and herbs and spices we're cooking with and drinking. We want to give the digestion a time to not only deal with what we're putting in now, but maybe have a chance to process and eliminate any waste products left over from the winter season. Lifestyle, let's move. It's good to get the lymphatics and the circulation going. You might like to wake up in the morning and do a little dry skin brushing with a natural bristle brush, or you can get like a raw silk glove, and we use that in Ayurveda. You can buy them online and work from the feet up and do like circular movements over the joints and long strokes up the long bones towards the heart and circular clockwise around the belly. Really good. Actually, we don't so much favor the cold showers in Ayurveda. Yeah, it will get the circulation going, but think about it. Kapha is cold, and we want the channels open in the body to support the elimination, to support the circulation. But the cold is going to cause a contraction, so it's really not so much favored. But dry skin brushing or the silk glove to get the circulation going. Kapalabhati, breath practice. So I will put the link below the video if you're not sure of it. The daily rounds of kapalabhati, fantastic right now. Also, it will strengthen your respiratory system. So this will help to boost your resilience against the many kind of coughs and colds and respiratory infections that seem to be prevalent at this time of year. Drinking hot water, just simple hot water. Yeah, you can put some lemon in also to help clear and flush the liver. Main meal at lunchtime. Very light in the evening at the moment if you have kapha dosha in your constitution. Other types might need a more substantial meal in the evening. But these kind of adjustments we can make to diet and lifestyle. So with the breath practice as well, with yoga, like get the circulation going. Maybe it's a good time to try to build a habit of daily sun salutes, morning sun salutes. Just 4 to 6 rounds can really get your heart going, your whole circulation going. It takes hardly any time, right? It takes 5-6 minutes. Get up, get on the mat, do a few rounds. And, brisk walking in nature. Heart rate variability is really good if you put on some extra pounds and you want to get them moving and get into fat burning. This is the time of year. The dietary suggestions, the spices I've suggested are going to help that. But also like this notion of, I do it sometimes when I'm walking, You know, you walk at a steady pace for a minute, you can time yourself, and then walk super fast, almost, you know, power walking for a minute, and then back to your steady pace, and then back to a super fast pace. The change in the heart rate really helps to put the body in fat burning, but apparently it's really important to nose breathe for the fat burning, right? So these are all things we can do. Rebounding, you know, the small trampolines, fantastic for the lymphatics, as well as for getting the whole circulation and your heart rate going, and in a very safe way, right, which is not jarring to the joints. So there's plenty to take on board there, plenty to think about. I'm putting the link to my website below as well, because we have spring cleanse programs there. I have a blog lately on fenugreek. Please bring that into your diet at the moment, but pitta dosha with caution. Yeah, and please get in touch with any of your questions. There's, I'm sure, much more to say about the spring season, but just these adjustments, and we're building our resilience and we're building our energy for the more active months ahead. All right, thank you, bye.